In this video, we are going to talk about how you develop perfectionism and how you can cure it. I am Paulien and I am so happy you are here because perfectionism is just exhausting. And it is something that can continue and continue unless you break the pattern. So why don't we do that? First of all, how do you develop perfectionism? It's actually developed a lot of times because of your attachment style. If you don't know what that is, that means the way you were attached towards your parents or parent figures um, can have an impact on so many things in your life, especially relationships and how you are in relationships and who you're attracted to. But also when it comes to perfectionism, there is such a thing as relationship perfectionism, which we will talk about too. But perfectionism, if you know about the attachment styles, which I'm just gonna assume for a minute you are familiar with, um, every single insecure attachment style is dealing with its own form of perfectionism. In the anxious preoccupied attachment style, it is more of a when I'm perfect, you will not leave me, you will like me. So that's what the anxious preoccupied person will strive for. With the dismissive avoidant, it is more, it has to be perfect. There's no other way. So when I'm not sure it's gonna be perfect, I'm just not gonna do it at all. So it's just like not even dealing with it so as to not run the risk of it not being perfect and being afraid of disappointing people. And then there is the fearful avoidant attachment style, which is what this whole channel is about if you're new here. And it can flip flop between the two, but for the fearful avoidant in the core, perfectionism is it has to be perfect or otherwise I'm not safe. Something bad is going to happen. And it can feel like this impending sense of doom that if you don't get this perfect, and this can be anything, there will be grave consequences. Something really bad will happen. And this is why perfectionism for the fearful avoidant has the biggest impact. So it can really hinder you in your day to day life, but also it can really paralyze you because where the anxious preoccupied still has hope, like if I'm perfect, people will not leave me, the fearful avoidant usually has this belief that I will never be able to get it right completely, but I have to try because otherwise I'm not safe, and that makes such a hard place for you to be in because it's so contradictory. You're working really hard to get it perfect, but you're not believing that you can get there and that you're even safe when you get there. But there's this belief that only when everything is perfect, I will be safe. And it's very important to know that when you want to cure that. So, the perfectionism and the safety is really, really linked. And now, when we look at relationships, because I think we talk a lot about perfectionism in general, in other areas of life, like in school, perfectionism in school or in your career and work, um, but not necessarily in relationships. So, what does relationship perfectionism look like? I don't even think it's really a term, but it should be because it exists. It means that you want your relationship to be perfect. You want your partner to be perfect, but even more so, you want your feelings to be perfect. So you want to feel in a perfect way about this relationship and about your partner. And it could be that you have this set image of what that should look like, and it kind of differs for people, but generally, it's the more I feel, the more intense my feelings towards my partner are, the more perfect it is. So the more safe I will be, the more I will know that he will not leave me or she will not leave me, but also that I won't fuck up, that I won't make a mistake, or that I won't fall in love with somebody else, or that I won't want to get a divorce or break up later on when we are married, when we are living together, when we have children. So it's not just the not wanting to be abandoned or the fear of abandonment. It's also the fear of well, it's actually just not trusting yourself, that if you don't feel perfectly about your relationship or about your partner, that you will make a mistake and you will ruin things down the road, which is not true. But what this can lead to is you just believing that it has to be perfect. And so every moment that things are not perfect in your relationship, you kind of get into this panic. You feel like, no, but we have to fit perfectly together. I have to be perfectly attracted to him or her right now. And you might not think of the word perfect. For you, it feels like I have to feel more or I have to feel enough. But enough is never enough. It's always a little bit more, because when you get to that point where you thought you wanted to be, there's always like a different goalpost you feel like you have to go to. So as long as you're in that loop of it has to be perfect, I have to feel more, I have to feel more, I have to feel more, it's really hard to break that perfectionism. So the cure is actually kind of a mantra that the first time I heard it, and I was a fearful avoidant to the max, was actually an eye opener to me. I never saw it this way. So I'm curious if this will be an eye opener for you too. But this is the mantra, this is the cure. That it can be better doesn't mean that it has to be better. So the fact that there might be on the whole planet Earth somebody that is more compatible with you doesn't mean that you have to find that person. The fact that you could feel more doesn't mean that you have to, especially in this moment. And the first time I really realized this, it was like a mind blown thing, because I had always worked on the running program that when it can be better, it just has to be better. That was like such a truth. And it's not. It's not a truth. And I cannot tell you how much peace it has given me to know that even though it can be better, it doesn't have to be better. And I still say that to myself in so many areas of my life. And it's just, oh, there's so much pressure relieved and so much peace that comes with that. But also, what you're wanting by wanting more is, in the end, a feeling of safety and a feeling of more love and more happiness. And that never, ever, ever comes from things outside of you. It's very important to know this along with the mantra. So you could potentially be in the best, most compatible relationship and feel the most, and you could still feel unsafe. There will not be an external factor that can make you feel completely safe. That safety is inside of you. And there is not a feeling in the world that you cannot feel in yourself and by yourself, because another person will never give you a feeling. They can only trigger that feeling inside of you. So you have that feeling inside of you and you can reach that. It's just very hard for you to, because it doesn't feel safe to feel that way. It feels safer to strive for perfection. It feels unsafe to just say, it's already here. Everything that I need is already here, because you want to work for that safety. You want that almost fantasy that when you reach a certain point, when you have a perfect relationship, or when you have anything else in your life be completely perfect, then you'll be safe, then you'll be okay. So that mantra will definitely help you. The fact that it can be better doesn't mean that it has to be better, because all feelings are inside you. You can feel whatever you want to feel without anything changing outside of you. You have that power. You are not a victim to your external circumstances. You are not a victim to having to find the perfect partner. I mean, how sad would that be, that you can only feel safe or only feel happy when you find the absolute perfect partner? That is not how love works. That is not how love works, because that's a very scarcity way of looking at it, and love is abundant, more than abundant, and it is inside of you. So, of course, there is safety involved, and there is a way to find safety inside yourself. Um, and this mantra will help. If you already follow me for a while, you know that I'm like a super fan of EFT, the emotional freedom technique, which is tapping, and you can find way more on my channel about that. That's how I healed the fearful avoidant attachment style. And that can actually help you release the fear that is associated with the perfectionism. Like the reason you have this perfectionism, you can actually release that. And that will just free up so much pressure you put on yourself, and will allow for so much more happiness and so much more love. Because as long as it doesn't feel safe to just feel love and feel happiness right now, you won't allow yourself to feel any of that, because you're not there yet. You have to perform, you have to strive, you have to be perfect before you can allow yourself to feel those feelings. And as long as you see that as sort of a reward after working really hard, it will always be something that is in the future. And I want that for you right now. I want you to feel love, and I want you to feel happiness right now, because I don't want you to live your whole life just striving and not allowing yourself to feel safe, to feel loved, and to feel happy. So, what I'm actually going to do, if you have been following me for a while, you know that I've been saying that my program that I'm developing would be ready by the end of the first quarter of this year, which is almost. And the program is not completely done yet. But what I'm gonna do is the ending of March, and I should have looked up the exact date. I have it in my calendar. It's the last Monday of the month. Yeah, or the 21st of March, not the last, the second to last. The 21st of March, I will do a live kind of webinar thing where we get to chat. And I'm so excited. I have done a live Q&A before, and I loved it. And this will be kind of the same. I will answer your questions. We will do some tapping, that emotional freedom technique thing I was talking about. And you can sign up for that through the link in the description below. And then you will get more information about what time it is exactly, but it will be March 21st. And then I will also tell you a little bit more about the program, which is obviously completely free, up to you to see whether you want to join or not. But we will just chat, and I will answer your questions, and I'm really excited to talk to you again and to hear what you're struggling with and see how I can help you. I mean, the world is kind of crazy right now, and I just want to be there for you. So that Q&A is where I answer your questions, where we can tap a little. So hopefully you'll feel more peace and more calm, which I so wish for you. So again, if you want to sign up for that webinar, that is completely free, and we are just gonna chat, you can sign up through the link in the description below, and I will see you then, and I will be back with a new video next week.